Trevor Bauer has not played since July of last year because Trevor Bauer had an accusation against him. A woman came forward and said, he did all these things to me. And Trevor Bauer said, well, we were having consensual intercourse, and that's just what we were doing. In the, 8 months that has happened since then, we found a lot more out, including the fact that a DA, a district attorney, everyone's looked at this, and they would not file any charges against Trevor Bauer because when they had all the information, everything was consensual. But that's not good enough for Major League Baseball. After missing 100 games between the end of last season and the beginning of this season on the commissioner's exempt list, Trevor Bauer has now been suspended 2 years from Major League Baseball, despite not a single crime being charged against him. MLB suspends Dodgers Trevor Bauer for 2 seasons. And I think it's very important to note that Trevor Bauer, throughout this entire time, has been very outspoken in his defense. He's not sitting there shutting up about it. We have this here, finally, when they cleared him of any criminal charges, which just because you're not charged doesn't mean you're innocent. We all understand that there can be extenuating circumstances. But months and months and months, and they didn't have anything to connect him to this. He put out this big statement about the truth and about everything that's happened, everything that's gone down. That didn't stop Major League Baseball from trying to blackball him. Now, I know you guys, I know John is, but I know some of you guys might not be as engaged with Major League Baseball, but Trevor Bauer is a thorn in the side of the MLB. He's the one that talked about the sticky stuff, about the spider tack, who had been telling MLB for years to do something until he said, you know what, I'm just going to use it if you're not going to stop people from doing it. That made Major League Baseball to make a ton of changes and piss off a lot of different people. MLB does not like Trevor Bauer. And I personally think this is a vendetta and a way to silence him, a way to take him out.
This is insane. I mean, again, I don't keep up with current MLB or anything like that, but this story kind of transcends baseball and transcends sports. And the fact that this dude's getting hit for 2 years, and the obvious thing to bring up is the Deshaun Watson situation and the number of women that were facing, that he was facing accusations with, that the media basically conveniently just kind of swept under the rug and really had no problem. The NFL really didn't get involved in it. And this guy gets one accusation. This is insane. Absolutely insane. Go ahead, John.
Yeah, his career, man. How old is Trevor Bauer?
He's probably like 29 or something, okay, 30 maybe. I don't know exactly.
Yeah.
But.
So he's going to miss all of this season, all of next season, and he's going to miss a good 20 games into 2024. So he won't even be allowed at spring training in 2024. That's going to greatly affect his career. Now, I will say this. He did go out there and try to find women on these dating apps. Deshaun Watson, Instagram. You got to make better decisions here. If you don't really know these women, I know I sound like an old man in my 40s because I am, but if you don't know these women, don't get involved with them. Now I'm saying this as a married man here. So I'm settled down. I'm not in my 20s anymore, but even, of course, I was broke when I was in my 20s, but I wouldn't go out and try to find women on these dating apps.
I think there's a big difference between Deshaun Watson was paying for women to come over to have sex with him. Yes. That's what Deshaun Watson was doing. Trevor Bauer was doing something different, casual sex, whatever. You can judge that if you want.
But he was still using those dating apps too. That's where he met up with these women, because there's another story out there where a third woman has come out too and said it was consensual.
Well, a third woman has come out and it said, I had a similar story with Trevor. He choked me and I wasn't okay with that. It's interesting because Trevor Bauer immediately replies to the Washington Post hit piece that came out and provides proof, right? Proof of him texting this chick and about them hooking up. Images that she continued to send him even after these incidents that she said happened years and years ago, where she's constantly trying to get his attention, sending him screenshots, sending him, stuff with literally just like stuff penetrating her, saying the entire time she wants to get back with him. She wants to hook up with him again. This woman is clearly just bitter and spurned. Trevor Bauer's providing the receipts. She had no problem with that. And this happened. This started when he was in the minor leagues too.
Yeah.
So, there's so many different levels to this. And I personally think that this is just an attack on Trevor Bauer. because people don't like him. And regardless if you don't like Trevor Bauer, I'm not a huge fan of him as a person, other than the fact that I like that he's an asshole to people. But Trevor Bauer, dude, if anybody's out there, Trevor Bauer watches this, Trevor Bauer, come on this podcast, talk to us about this. He's been posting videos on YouTube. He's trying to get his story out there. We have your back, Trevor Bauer, because regardless of anything else, no one deserves to be railroaded like this. Marcelo Zuna got 20 games suspension. He was caught on video, police body cam, choking his wife, hands around her throat on video. He gets a 20-game suspension. Yet Trevor Bauer, where you can't even prove that this stuff was not consensual in any way, 2 years. That is insane and completely unfair.
Yeah. And again, it's all, I just want consistency in how people are punished or treated when things like this happen. And we see no consistency, obviously, just in general, but in the world of sports specifically, because that's what this show is about, is sports. But like, there's no consistency about this. And everything deserves due process, and everyone deserves due process, regardless of who they voted for, what they look like, what the color of their skin is, who they sleep with, what their political positions are. Everyone deserves due process and to be treated, the same in these situations. Then you let the facts and then you let the evidence determine ultimately what happens. That's not what we see in the world of sports, though. And that's the problem here. That's the big issue. There is no consistency with how things are handled. And that's what people are tired of.
Well, let me so he hasn't been convicted of anything, right?
He
No.
hasn't even been charged.
Right. He hasn't been charged with anything. Okay.
Yeah.
So here's what I'd ask to those who are disciplining him is like, whenever there's disciplinary action being taken, whether it's parents, whether it's organization, whether it's anything, it's because you did something wrong, right? And so if that disciplinary action is taken, he's suspended for 2 years. What did he do that he wasn't supposed to do? Are you convicting him? Are you saying he absolutely did this? Because take the Ray Rice example. It's like you punched a woman. You don't punch women. That seems pretty obvious. What's the lesson to take away here? He hasn't, like you said, he hasn't even been charged. And so what did he need to do differently? What warrants 2 years? That's
the thing is, the women agreed to be choked. Now, when they were going at it, who's really to say what's over the line when it comes to choking? I mean, this is a grown ass man, and they agreed to be choked. That's a real gray area.
The person who's just come forward is the one who introduced Trevor Bauer to choking during sex.
Oh, really?
Right. That's the woman. Like the one that just came forward and said he had rough sex with me too, and I wasn't okay with it, even though you continued to text him year after year after year to try to get more attention from him after he became more famous.
They were together for like 2 or 3 years.
They had a series of like casual hookups for years. So, but Trevor Bauer, love him or hate him, he doesn't deserve this bullshit.